What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from the IRL Season 5 of F1 Round 8 on the PS4 platform F1 2018. And we are waiting for the drivers to load in for Round 8 here at Austria, at the Red Bull Ring. And while we wait, go over some news and notes. Austria has been a very interesting track in IRL history. 4 different winners here over the last 4 years, and none of those winners who have won this race have gone on to win the championship. Season 1, John Hooft had taken the win here at Austria, but ended up ultimately third in the championship that year. Kiki Malika won in Season 2. Sandre Sauerhog had won in Season 3, and last year was the very controversial Austrian race, where Sebastian Goncalves actually won the race, but because of a safety car glitch, half points were awarded at laps 19 and 25, and then the race was ultimately red flagged and canceled on lap 26 due to a safety car glitch, and at the time, the infamous Killian Brady, who was not supposed to be participating in the race that day, had joined the lobby that day, and believe he was part of the reason why we had the safety car issue that we had. It was probably IRL's worst race last season, but it was still a pretty interesting race nonetheless. But 4 different winners over the last 4 years. None of those winners who have won this race have gone on to win the championship, as I said, and there is a 50% pole to win ratio, so chances are you get a 50-50 shot of winning this race if you're going to get pole. So we're coming off the back end of a very interesting round 7 from Hungary last week, where we saw Ville Himalayan take his first win of the year and his first career IRL win. We also had Jack Hoyle picked up his 4th podium position of the year. A little bit of controversy there. With Jack Hoyle, he avoided a time penalty after the race, even though it looked like on the live stream that his car had gotten into the rear of Jay Drawbridge, your championship points leader. Stewards looked at it. It was kind of a toss-up. Some said yay, some said nay, but ultimately it came down to they believe it was a desynchronization problem with the internet. Therefore, it wasn't necessarily Jack Hoyle's fault, so no penalty was awarded, and unfortunately Jay Drawbridge got the short end of the straw on that one as he ended up finishing 6th that race last time out. Brandon Glover picked up his first pole position in a very long time last time out. Unfortunately, pole meant very little. His race strategy did not work out for him, and he struggled with grip, and he ended up finishing 8th last time out. Lewis Curtis picked up his 2nd DNF in a row. And Luke Smith has had a DNF again last time out. That's 3 out of 4 races this year that Luke Smith ended up with a DNF. Doesn't look like he is participating today, but we'll get to the driver rundown here in a minute. And Gabriel Ryan had his first DNF of the year officially. He did have a disconnect issue back at round 3 in Mexico, but not necessarily a DNF. And Louis Quinlan came back after taking a sabbatical with a new wheel. He had taken off a couple of rounds because he said he was struggling with his wheel, and he had a DNF in a lot of races. He actually leads the league this year with DNFs. Came back to rejoin the league after missing a couple of rounds. And new league, well, I should say new year, new wheel, and the same result. Quinlan was the first one out, picking up his 4th DNF of the year, last time out at Hungary. So we're going to get ready for a short qualifying session, 18 minutes, see who can get pole. And we've got a lot of guys on the chat. It looks like we've got James Hallworth and Callum Anderson, Adrian Storm. Adrian Storm had a brilliant race yesterday in the F2 race. You can check that out on the YouTube channel. F2 race yesterday here at Austria was quite thrilling. Jared Fosbury went on to pick up another win and extend his points lead in the championship point standings. So definitely check that out if you're interested in the F2 league. While we get ready to do some qualifying for F1. And we'll run down the driver list here in just a second. Oh, and we've got rain at Austria. That's interesting. Don't run into that a whole lot. It looks like KLC-73. That's Aaron Collingwood. It looks like he just left the session. Possible internet issue. It looks like we've got 15 drivers today. Thomas Scott is at the top of the list, followed by John Colonias, Sanjay Sauerhall, Joshua Dangle, Gabriel Ryan, Felix Nagor, Saba Siktu, James Hallworth, Jay Drawbridge, Jared Fosbury, who won yesterday's F2 race, Jack Hoyle, Brandon Glover, Luke Smith, Alexander Bastos, and Aaron Collingwood rounding out your 15 drivers for today. And I don't think anybody was ready for a wet qualifying session. Nobody's actually left the pits yet. We've got one of the Ferraris going out now. That might be Luke Smith. Actually, that would have to be Collingwood, wouldn't it? Nope, James Hallworth. First driver to leave the pits. Looks like he's out on intermediates. So I've played this game quite a bit, and I've never actually seen a wet Austrian race, and I don't remember one in recent years in real F1. However, the rolling hills of Austria, it's not that surprising, I would imagine, to see some weather coming through. And you see he's struggling with grip on the intermediates, the back end, looking to kick out on the car. Got some guys now finally starting to leave the pits. Oh, and he puts it nose first into the wall. So James Hallworth already struggling. Doesn't look like intermediates are going to be the way to go. Which is interesting because it looks like everybody has gone out on intermediates. So Hallworth back into the pits. Doesn't even get around his outlap without running into an issue. So we'll pick up Colonias. Polonias. I don't know how to say his last name. We'll pick up John. I'm just going to call him John. He's on his outlap. Felix Nagor behind him. Jay Drawbridge, also on his outlap. And Alexander Bastos finished 10th his last round out. Caution in Sector 2. And Nagor playing a very dangerous game, doing the slalom with the intermediates in these wet conditions. Looks like he's going to start a hot lap, see what kind of time your championship points leader can put in here. Ooh, runs very wide out of turn 1. You see James Hallworth coming out of the pits. And Jack Hoyle is the first driver to set a time at a 1:12.545. In comparison, yesterday during the F2 race, we saw dry times of around 104, between 103 and 104 for pole time. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember seeing a lot of 104s yesterday during qualifying. And you can see a little bit of the racing line there. Oh, it looks like Hallworth is struggling again. And around he goes once more. So we'll get back to Nagor. And KLC-73, that's Aaron Collingwood, has joined the session. Not sure if he'll be able to join his car. And a 1:14.6 so far for Felix Nagor. Brandon Glover comes across the line at a 1:23.9. 1:57.05, slowest time of anybody who's actually put a time together today so far. Cautions in Sector 3. Glover looks like he's on a relatively good lap, 1:13, so that's enough to put him up into 4th. Jay Drawbridge just went fastest with a 1:12.4. Jack Hoyle, 1:12.5. Luke Smith, 1:12.7. Thomas Scott with a good effort, 1:12.9. Top 4 drivers all in the 1:12 area. Sandre Sauerhog is yet to set a time. He's currently in Sector 2 at the 2 left-handers. Jay Drawbridge just went a little bit quicker with a 1:12.353. And Sandre is going to abort his lap. So here comes Joshua Dangle. And a 1:12.0 goes Jack Hoyle. As we watch Joshua Dangle come across the line with a 1:14.157. So the times are dropping here a little bit. You can see the racing line starting to become a little bit more prevalent. We'll pick up Jay Drawbridge, see if he's got an answer for Jack Hoyle's 1:12.0. See if Drawbridge can pick up any time heading down through the last set of corners here. And he's going to come across line 1:12.2, so he does improve his time, but not his position. So we'll stick with Drawbridge for now. Jared Frostberry has also gone 1:12.9. He's 5th quickest. And it looks like Drawbridge is off of the pace a little bit. Brayden Glover now just comes across the line 4th quickest. 1:12.774. Going to caution in Sector 3. As Jack Hoyle heads into the pits, and it looks like Jay Drawbridge is going to be doing the same. Here comes one of the Souders. That is Felix Neguar. Oh, and Neguar loses it through the S's, and he's going to abort this lap. Cautions in sectors 2 and 3 this time. You see one of the Red Bulls coming out. And Neguar is going to let him go around, so he is going to abort this lap as well. And it looks like Collingwood was able to get some control of his car and get out on track. He's gone 1:14.6 so far. And he is struggling with rear grip. Gets a little bit of a tank slapper there coming out of turn 2. So run down to turn 3. James Hallworth is in the other Ferrari. We've seen him struggle twice today so far. He does finally manage to set a time at a 1:19.5. He's 5 seconds off of Collingwood's best time at a 1:14.4. Sanjay Sauerhog's the only driver yet to set a time. Looks like he has struggled with setup from the get-go. 10 minutes have gone by now. 8:30 left to play in this qualifying session. Collingwood is going to come across the line 1:13.991, so he improves his time but not his position. Still 13th quickest. Pick up Jack Hoyle. Looks like he's on a hot lap coming in out of turn 2, that looked like. Back end kicked out on him a little bit. We'll run down into turn... Actually, this would be turn 2. Looks like he was coming out of turn 1. So this is turn 2. You can see him struggling with the rear tires. Saba Siktu now, we haven't talked about him yet today, but Saba Siktu just went third quickest with a 1:12.653. Oh no, there goes one of the Ferraris. Was that James Hallworth again? It was not. Looks like that was Collingwood. So the Ferraris are just having a dismal qualifying session and struggling with grip and setup, it looks like. And Jack Hoyle has gone 1:12.0. Does he have anything left? Can he break into the 1:11s? Nope, he's going slower this time by. Pick up Saba Siktu. He's coming into the left-handers. This is the S's here. The car just kicks out just a little bit there. And Siktu is going to go into the pits. He is going 5th quickest. Now this was a 1:12.451 by Luke Smith. Pick up Thomas Scott, 4th quickest so far. Thomas Scott unfortunately had his first DNF of the year last time out at Hungary. Been a pretty solid driver so far this year though. Not setting the world on fire, but he's been quietly putting some points on the board. Continue to watch him in Sector 2 as he heads into the 2 left-handers now. Scott has proven his qualifying pace to be fairly quick. He actually qualified 2nd in round 3 in Mexico. Unfortunately, his race did not go the way he wanted in Mexico. He ended up finishing 12th. And he is heading into the pits. We're going to pick up Jay Drawbridge, who's on his out lap. And Jay Drawbridge has been contending for the championship points lead with Felix Naguar. Naguar is all the way down in 9th currently. Drawbridge getting ready to finish this out lap, start a hot lap. Jump on board with Jay Drawbridge. Little rough. Struggling to get that power down, peeling wheels all the way through 4th and 5th gear. Easy steering input. Still dragging wheel through 4th. Finally catches a little bit of grip in 5th. Up to the 2 left-handers here at this Austrian layout. Through the S's and onto the short backstretch. A quick right-hander coming up. And how close are we going to be? Oh, 1:12.110. So close, Jay Drawbridge is. Less than 4 minutes to go. And Aaron Collingwood, just so we know, is on 3rd quickest. Drawbridge is on an out lap, I believe. No, not Drawbridge. Jack Hoyle is on an out lap. We'll stick with Drawbridge. We've got cautions in Sector 2 and 3. Drawbridge was down on his time at the end of Sector 1 and drifting the car around that long sweeping right-hander, it looked like. So he is certainly struggling with some grip on the intermediates, as is everybody today so far. We've got cautions all over the track now, 1, 2, and 3 sectors, both with yellow flags. $112,171. So again, Drawbridge still trying to get that pole position and break into the 111s. Meanwhile, Jack Hoyle, who is your provisional pole sitter as of right now, looks like he's struggling with grip coming out of turn 2. Or turn 3, I should say. Down into the left-handers. Here comes Hoyle across the line. Oh, and he does it. He cracks the 111s with a 111.964. Unbelievable time. So now Jay Drawbridge has his work cut out for him, and he's down at the second sector by half a tenth. And again, 112.033. So Jay Drawbridge improves his time, not his position. And we're going to pick up your championship points leader, Felix Neguar, all the way down in 12th position so far. Neguar is the points leader. Jack Hoyle and Jay Drawbridge have both proven to be a little bit of a factor this year. So Neguar is really going to have to improve his position if he wants to try and keep them two from closing that points gap down and becoming in contention for this championship. And Sandre Sauerhog has retired from the session, 14th quickest, with a 1:14.9. Here comes Neguar, 1:12.523, set him 5th quickest so far. Oh, and Drawbridge looks like he is off at, that is the last corner, and that is going to be it for Jay Drawbridge. He is officially going to be second as of right now. Jack Hoyle, 111.964. I don't think anybody's going to have anything for Hoyle. We'll pick up Aaron Collingwood. Collingwood is up on his time. Oh, but he runs very wide coming out of that last corner, and that is going to be it for Collingwood as he comes across the line. Luke Smith officially third as of right this second. Neguar did come across the line to start one more hot lap. He's down at Sector 2, and around goes Neguar. That's going to end his qualifying session. Joshua Dangle, he is off the pace. Jared Fosbury, the only driver, looks like still possibly on a hot lap, maybe with the exception of Brandon Glover. Glover just comes across the line, does not improve his position. Jared Fosbury with a 1:12.991. So not his best effort. So a wet qualifying session. Dried out there a little bit towards the end. The rain finally stopped falling. The race line was starting to come in too. But Jack Hoyle is going to be your pole winner. Hoyle, who's proven to be very quick throughout the course of this year. Looks like that is going to be his first pole of the season. So Jack Hoyle, Jay Drawbridge, Luke Smith, Aaron Collingwood, Felix Naguar, Joshua Dangle, Saba Siktu, John Kalinas, Thomas Scott, and Brandon Glover, followed by Jared Fosbury, Alexander Bastos, Gabriel Ryan, Sandre Sauerhog, and James Hallworth, who struggled mightily in the Scuderia. So Jack Hoyle picks up his first pole position of the year. And it looks like there's still a little bit of overcast for race day. Weather could be a possibility. We get ready for the grid to reset. So that's Jack Hoyle's first pole position of the year. That's 2 races in a row we've had somebody get their first pole position. Brandon Glover had his first pole position of the year back last round in Hungary. Unfortunately, his race did not go the way that he wanted, as he finished 8th. So Jack Hoyle, pole sitter, he has got 4 podiums this year and showing himself to be a championship contender, followed by another championship contender in Jay Drawbridge. Drawbridge has 2 wins this year and a 3rd place finish back at Catalunya. Luke Smith will be looking to finish the race. He's gone 3 for 4 with the DNFs. 3 DNFs this year and 4 races for IRL. Aaron Collingwood, who's proven to be very quick. We saw how fast he was back in France, round 5. He's got a podium where he finished 3rd in that race. Felix Naguar is your championship points leader. Was able to put together a good run towards the end of qualifying to get 5th quickest. Joshua Dangle, scrappy young fellow, be looking to put in some good points today. And Saba Siktu be looking to improve upon his season. Been a little bit of a struggle so far this year for him. John Kalinas, hoping to have a solid run with his teammate Jared Fosbury today. Thomas Scott, proven to be very quick in qualifying a couple times this year, but unfortunately has not had the results that he wants. Jared Fosbury is your points leader in F2, looking to make a name for himself here in F1. Alexander Bastos will be looking to get some points today. And Gabriel Ryan, he is one of 3 drivers that have had a huge winning drought. We talked about Brandon Glover a little while ago. Glover has gone almost a year without getting a win, but Gabriel Ryan has gone a year and a half, 448 days to be exact, since Gabriel Ryan's last win. Brandon Glover's gone 336 days, and Sandre Sauerhog's last win came here in Austria back in season 3, and that has been 401 days. As we get ready for the lights to go out. Lights out, time to run what you brung. And the run down into turn 1. Jay Drawbridge gets a good start, but around the outside goes Hoyle. And Luke Smith is right there, but Drawbridge is going to try and make a move onto the outside, and we're going to go 3 wide into turn 2. And Luke Smith, with a power move, gets out-braked by himself. Jack Hoyle comes back out on top. Here comes Aaron Collingwood making a move on Jay Drawbridge as they head down into turn 3. And Drawbridge is in danger of losing another spot to Felix Naguar. Drawbridge is going to have the position to the 2 left-handers. Bumps wheels with Naguar just a little bit. He's got his teammate right behind him, Luke Smith. And Smith is looking to make a move on the championship points leader. And Luke Smith is going to make that stick no problem. And now Felix Naguar's got Joshua Dangle behind him. Smith runs very wide coming out of the last corner. Oh, and look at this dangle onto the outside. There's a whole gaggle of cars behind these two fighting for position. Meanwhile, Jack Hoyle is pulled out 1 second clear of Aaron Collingwood, but Collingwood's got Jay Drawbridge looking to make a move onto the inside of him. The run down into turn 3. Good move by Drawbridge. We'll see if he can start closing that gap. Of course, he hasn't cleared Collingwood just yet. Collingwood trying to come back. Meanwhile, Joshua Dangle still working on the points leader. So lots of action all around the track right this second on the opening couple of laps. And this will be lap 3, so the DRS will be enabled. Jack Hoyle just ran the fastest lap at a 1:06. And DRS slot open for Aaron Collingwood. And it looks like John Kalinas has probably run into some issues. Oh, and he has retired the car in the pit lane. Linus will be done for the day. A little bit of an internet glitch there. Technique Gaming chiming in on the live chat. Good to see him. Too bad he's not involved with the race today. And watch your top second, third, and fourth right now. And Technique Gaming is actually Belay Himalayan. He picked up his first win last time out at round 7 in Hungary. Again, not in the race today, but on the live chat, so good to see he is with us in spirit. Second, third, and fourth covered by 1.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Joshua Dangle's yet to give up on his pursuit for the 5th spot over Felix Negborn. He's got the inside line this time. Oh, and it looks like a little bit of a Nico Rosberg-esque move there. Dangle tried going up the inside, but refused to turn the wheel. He's going to go down to the inside this time. And he's going to pick up the 5th position from Felix Negor. Thomas Scott just got around Brandon Glover, and Glover is in a heated battle for the 10th spot. So 5th through, looks like 11th, these 6 cars are only separated by from 6th to 11th, or 5th to 11th, only about 2 seconds. So Negwar is going to have the DRS advantage this time. He's going to try and put a move to get the top 5 spot back from Joshua Dangle. Meanwhile, Collingwood is starting to close the gap onto Jay Drawbridge. And Luke Smith is closing the gap into Aaron Collingwood. Almost had a change of position for that 5th spot again. Negwar was there for a second. Couldn't make the move stick coming out of turn 3. Closing the gap in. He's not going to be close enough to make a move. He should be close enough to make a move coming down into turn 2. Dangle looks like he's going to make him take the more defense. Oh, Jared Fosbury. Oh, it looks like Fosbury has crashed. You see his car there in the background. Oh, and look at this. Joshua Dangle making things very difficult for Felix Naguar for that 5th spot. So Jared Fosbury, who was your F2 winner yesterday, not able to take the weekend sweep. A 3-second time penalty for Joshua Dangle, so that'll definitely come into play. Looks like Andre Sauerhog has picked up a time penalty as well. Naguar to the inside. And it looks like he's going to be able to make this move stick this time. Dangle tries the crossover move. The back end kicks out just a little bit, and now Dangle's got the more preferred line. They rub wheels just a little bit. Naguar tries to run him down to the grass. Dangle back to the inside. Bit of a puff of smoke out of the right front. Crossover move now from Naguar. But Dangle's got the more preferred line as they head into the 2 lone left-handers. Oh, and there's some bumping and banging going on there. Meanwhile, while these two have been fighting it out, Saba Siktu looks like he's biding his time. And he could possibly make a move, and now Naguar is going to get out in front of Dangle, but here comes Siktu. And it's a 3-way battle for the 5th spot. Here they come in succession. There's Naguar, Dangle, Siktu, followed by Thomas Scott. Oh, and look at this. Naguar slides the car coming out of turn 1. Siktu to the inside of Dangle. Dangle loses a spot. Thomas Scott's right behind him. And now Siktu's going to try and make a dive bomb move. Locks up the right front. Oh, and Dangle does the same thing. These two bump. Thomas Scott comes out. 2-for-1 deal going into turn 2. And Thomas Scott's got a good run on Felix Naguar. Naguar picks up 3-for-1. And now Naguar's lost the 5 spot. He's about to lose another spot to Saba Siktu. Siktu to the inside on the left-handers. Naguar trying to hang tough on the outside. Makes it stick going around the first left-hander. Into the second one in the S's. Unbelievable racing on these opening laps. We're in lap 9 of 36. And Dangle heads into the pits. He's going to call it enough for now. Meanwhile, back towards the front, Luke Smith looking to make a move on Aaron Collingwood for the 3rd spot. Not close enough to make a move there. Ooh, he thought about it. Oh, and look at this. Collingwood goes wide into turn 3, and Luke Smith's going to take the position. Meanwhile, a little further back, Saba Siktu has got it. He's working on the backside of his teammate. Gabriel Ryan got around him, and now Thomas Scott going to the inside of Felix Naguar. Naguar has been fighting mightily all day for that top 5. He gets it, and then he loses it. He gets it, and he loses it. Looks like Luke Smith just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And now Naguar's going to have the DRS slot open. Easily going to be able to have the, the inside. Look at this. Scott's going to try and hang tough on the outside. Scott's back end kicks out. And here comes Gabriel Ryan. Gabriel Ryan to the inside of Scott. Can he get to the inside of Naguar? Big lock up heading into the corner. He pushes Naguar wide. And Thomas Scott manages. Oh no! And Naguar's been pushed into the grass. He hangs onto the car. He gets hit again. Loses 3 positions. He's down to 8. Thomas Scott, the big winner in that. Again, coming back out in 5th spot. Gabriel Ryan now 6th. So unbelievable racing here for the 5th spot. It's a 5-car battle. got Thomas Scott in the Force India, Gabriel Ryan in the Haas, followed by his teammate Sava Siktu. Felix Neguar is heading into the pits, and we've got a safety car out, and I'm not 100% sure why, as these cars all pull into the pits, 5th through 11th. The only car that had been wrecked so far was Jared Fosbury, and that was a number of laps ago. Not 100% sure why the safety car has come out. We had a safety car glitch last year at this race. I would hate to see that be an issue again this season. We had some really good racing going on. 5th through 11th, a 5 and 6 car battle for one spot. And Jack Hoyle is going to head into the pits, as well as Jay Drawbridge, as well as Luke Smith, followed by Aaron Collingwood. And there's a drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car for Jay Drawbridge. 5-second stop-and-go penalty, and speeding in the pit lane for Luke Smith. And while all this is happening, I've yet to see the actual safety car itself. I see some of the guys have switched over to the softs. Those that are on softs are probably going to run them all the way to the end. Jay Drawbridge, there is the safety car. So the safety car finally does pick up the field. So there's Jack Hoyle and Jay Drawbridge, followed by Luke Smith, Aaron Collingwood. Thomas Scott has now caught the pack, followed by Gabriel Ryan, Brandon Glover, Felix Neguar all the way back to 8th, Alexander Bastos in 9th, Joshua Dangle rounding out your top 10 points-paying positions. Sava Siktu was the big loser in all of this. He comes out of the pits in 12th. Sanjay Sauerhog, who has not been mentioned much today, is in 13th. And John Kalinas' car is AI. He retired earlier in the session. The car's gone AI. And then Jared Fosbury is the only car with a DNF. And again, that was a number of laps ago, so a little confusion about as to why the safety car has come out. Would really hate to see another safety car glitch this year. Austria is obviously a fan favorite track. A lot of guys like racing on this track, so it would be a shame if this was another safety car glitch. And it's definitely made for some interesting racing on the opening 11 laps before the safety car came out. Fosbury has mentioned in the live chat that his car had glitched and it destroyed itself on the grass. I'm not sure if he had if it was an internet issue on his end or if it was a lobby issue. And again, that was a number of laps ago that had happened. And the safety car is coming in this lap. So Hoyle is going to slow things down here for the time being, let that safety car get away and pull in. Jay Drawbridge will be looking to try and stick with him, maybe get a good jump on the restart. Looks like Hoyle is going to take them green heading into that corner. And he gets a good jump over Jay Drawbridge. Already out to over a second gap, and Drawbridge has to dive to the inside. And look at this, Luke Smith's on the outside. Collingwood on the inside. Collingwood makes the move for second. Drawbridge goes around! Not again! Oh, Jay Drawbridge, 2 weeks in a row. Oh, and he's struggling to get the power back down, spins the car around. And all the way to the end of the field, Jay Drawbridge. Once again, the big winner in this was Thomas Scott, third. Luke Smith makes the move to take that away. Oh, but look, a crossover move by Thomas Scott. Thomas Scott makes the move on the infamous Luke Smith. You see one of the Haas's, that's Gabriel Ryan, runs wide back there, almost into the gravel a little bit. Jared Fosbury has officially left the session. His car has been DNF for quite a number of laps. Collingwood actually closing the gap to Jack Hoyle, and you see Luke Smith picks up another 3-second time penalty. Smith is, so far, I think he's leading the way as far as time penalties go. That's the second or third one I've seen him get. Thomas Scott's going to try and make life difficult for him, make him go around the outside. Scott hangs tough. Oh, and he even keeps Luke Smith from trying to make that crossover move. Collingwood to the inside of Hoyle. It'll be the first time we have a lead change today. And Collingwood to the point. Meanwhile, Luke Smith still trying to get around Thomas Scott. Scott's still making him work the outside of every corner. And Aaron Collingwood has pulled out to almost the second gap over Jack Hoyle, and Jack Hoyle just now picks up a 3-second time penalty. We're watching the battle for third. Luke Smith, Thomas Scott. Smith to the inside. Scott hangs tough coming out of corner one. And a long run down into turn two. And again, Smith is going to have to go to the outside. Scott loses the position. Now Gabriel Ryan is within striking distance. Can Scott come back on Luke Smith? Not this quarter. Meanwhile, Felix Naguar has just lost the position of Brandon Glover. He tries to come back on the outside, but Glover's going to have the more preferred line heading through the two left-handers. Oh, and look at this to the inside. Naguar going to try and push Glover out wide. Ooh, and they just bump wheels just a little bit. And Luke Smith, another 3-second time penalty for Luke Smith. The hits keep on coming. Naguar now has the 6th spot, but here comes Brandon Glover. Naguar's going to make him go to the outside. And Glover is going to make that move stick. Meanwhile, Thomas Scott still wants to try and get back that third place, which, if the race ended now, Luke Smith would definitely not have that position. He has at least 9 seconds of time penalties that we know about, possibly more. Jay Drawbridge picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that is the 3rd time this year and the 2nd race in a row that Drawbridge has really gotten the short end of the stick. He had run into a similar issue back at the opening round in Canada, where he was in a 3-wide battle and got taken out. Ultimately finished 11th that race. Last round in Hungary, he was battling for the second spot. As we see up the inside goes the Haas of Gabriel Ryan. Pushes Thomas Scott out wide. Scott back to the inside of Ryan. Puff of smoke out of the right front. Crossover move from Ryan, but Scott's got the more preferred line. And Luke Smith is pulled away from these two for now. A little bit of separation now for Thomas Scott. As I was saying, Jay Drawbridge, he had an issue back at Canada round 1 where he got pushed around, finished 11th. It happened last race in Hungary. He was battling for second. Again, there was a desync issue, is what the stewards called it. It was a desynchronization through the internet. He got bumped by Jack Hoyle's car, but Hoyle didn't actually make it happen. And up the inside again goes Gabriel Ryan. And again, Scott gonna have to go around the outside this time. If he can stay there, he'll have the more preferred line. Oh, but he gets pushed into the grass a little bit, and Gabriel Ryan's going to be able to pull a gap on him that time by. But Drawbridge got pushed around last race as well. He fell through the bottom of the field just like he is now. Managed to work his way back to a 6th place finish at round 7. Currently going to have to do the same thing, running 14th, and he's 5 seconds behind the AI car of John Kalinas. Thomas Scott trying to reel back in. Gabriel Ryan up through the inside. Almost gave him the chrome horn. Side by side down the long stretch into turn 2. Scott's going to have the more preferred line. But again, Gabriel Ryan. Oh, and Ryan goes into the corner hot, almost kicks the back end out. Really swung that car in there. And this is the closest battle on track that we've got going right now. Aaron Collingwood is still your leader. He's pulled out over a 1.5 second gap over Jack Hoyle, who had led most of this race. Brandon Glover and Felix Negua are battling for the 6th spot. These two guys are actually starting to catch that battle with Thomas Scott and Gabriel Ryan. Oh, and Scott went in too hot late on the brakes. Opens the door for Gabriel Ryan. And Ryan's going to take that position. Meanwhile, Felix Negua trying to get around Brandon Glover. And while these two have been battling it out, Joshua Dangle is starting to make his presence known in this, what is going to become a 3-way battle for the 6th spot. Thomas Scott trying to hang tough and reel back in Gabriel Ryan. A caution in Sector 3, and that's James Hallworth. Hallworth has had a dismal weekend. Thomas Scott to the outside, and look at this, he brakes early this time. Oh, and Ryan blows the corner, runs very wide. Great move by Thomas Scott. He baited him and set up the crossover move. Ryan fell for it. Went into the corner too hot, left the door wide open for him. Meanwhile, 3-car battle for 6th. This is Negwar, Glover, and Dangle. Negwar able to gap Glover's car just a little bit there. And another time penalty for Luke Smith. The 4th one that I've seen. I'm trying to keep track. That's 12 seconds, and Collingwood pits. That's going to hand the lead back over to Jack Hoyle. That puts this as a battle for the last podium spot, which realistically, these two drivers, if the race finished now, they would both finish on the podium because Luke Smith would drop through the field with 12 seconds worth of time penalties. Sabasic picks up a 3-second time penalty now. Ooh, and Dangle tries to make a bold move to the inside of Glover. Look at this now. That is Collingwood on Dangle coming out of the pits on fresh tires. Oh, and look at this. Thomas Scott and Gabriel Ryan still going back and forth. Oh, no! They hook wheels and around goes Scott. Ryan's going to pull away and Scott's going to fall through the field. Oh, no, and look at this. Joshua Dangle makes contact with him. Oh, and Scott is going to rage quit and retire from the session. He was having such a good race. He calls it a day. Gabriel Ryan. And a 3-second time penalty for Gabriel Ryan. And Ryan has lost a couple of spots now. So now it is Luke Smith in 2nd. Felix Negwar is 3rd. Aaron Collingwood on fresh tires is going to be able to take that spot away easily. And that is unfortunate for Thomas Scott. He was having such a good run today. Unfortunately, rage quits. And Ryan regains the control of his car, settles in for a little bit, currently running 5th. That has moved Sandre Sauerhog into the 6th spot, followed by Alexander Bastos and Saba Siktu. Brandon Glover, who got the short end of that stick, as well as Thomas Scott, falls all the way back to 9th. So we'll have to see if the incident gets reported and reviewed by the stewards after the end of this race, but that is a really unfortunate series of events for Thomas Scott. He was really having a good run. He started deep in the field, was up as high as 3rd, battling for that podium position. And really this has benefited Luke Smith. We know Luke Smith has at least 12 seconds worth of time penalties. But he's been able to gap these cars now. Aaron Collingwood is on a tear right now. He's on fresh super softs. You see Joshua Dangle picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's the second one for him that I know of. So Collingwood is on a tear. He's going to run these ragged. And Jay Drawbridge has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Jay Drawbridge is currently running in 12th, and it looks like Brandon Glover is putting a move on Saba Siktu, or is it the other way around? Doesn't look like Saba is done with this battle. Tries to get to the inside. So Brandon Glover takes over the 8th spot. And he is starting to gap Saba Siktu now. Siktu runs wide coming out of that last corner. So what a race. 9 laps to go. Here's your leader, Jack Hoyle. Jack Hoyle won back in round 4 at Catalunya, where he also got driver of the day that day. And he is 6 seconds clear of Luke Smith. Smith looks like he's finally back to his old form again. He's gone 3 for 4 this year with IRL, 3 DNFs in 4 races. The one race that he did finish was a first place finish. He won back at round 6 at Silverstone. So he'll be looking to have at least a good points finishing day at this point. We know he has 12 seconds of time penalties. Not sure how far that's going to drop him through the field in relation to everybody else's time penalties. Aaron Collingwood, who we saw time penalties be a factor for him back at the French Grand Prix, where he did finish second, but ultimately ended up third because of time penalties. That was his lonesome podium of the year so far. I'm sorry, he had a third last round too, so he's got 2 third-place finishes this year, currently running third again. Your championship points leader has quietly, the last few laps, managed to get his way into 4th spot. And it looks like Gabriel Ryan is starting to close the gap down to Felix Naguar, but Naguar is your points leader. And Gabriel Ryan, it looks like Naguar just picked up a 3-second time penalty, heading for turn 1. Gabriel Ryan had an epic battle with Thomas Scott for most of this last half of the race. Unfortunately, that ended when their wheels got hooked. And again, we're waiting to see if the incident gets reported to the stewards at the end of the race. But right now, running 5th, that very well may change. Looks like Sondre Sauerhoff's putting in a good solid drive. He didn't have his best qualifying effort. I think he qualified down in the lower half of the field, 14th, but he's put in a good solid drive up to 6th, and he is closing the gap now down to Gabriel Ryan. Alexander Bastos in the other Force India is running 7th. And we've got a virtual safety car. Jay Drawbridge has retired from the session. What has happened to Jay's car? Trying to see if we can see any remains of Drawbridge's car. And a 5-second stop and go penalty for Sondre Sauerhoff. So virtual safety car comes out. Jay Drawbridge is going to have a DNF. Looks like he may have crashed somewhere. And a drive-through penalty, speeding under the virtual safety car for Saba Siktu. So this is going to shake up the running order again. So we saw 1 safety car this race. And it looks like Drawbridge would have gone off somewhere at turn 2. Unfortunate for him. And it looks like the virtual safety car is done. Back to green with 6 laps to go. And Thomas Scott does have some choice words for Gabriel Ryan in the live chat. And again, Scott was having such a good run. He was actually having the best run of the season so far for him. They started deep in the field. So now the virtual safety car is over. Resets the grid a little bit. All the cars are spread out. We were just talking about Jack Hoyle. He's got 4 podiums this year. He'll be picking up another win. Luke Smith, we're not sure where he's going to finish because of the 12 seconds worth of time penalties that we know about, possibly more. Aaron Collingwood is closing that gap. He's on a 2-stop strategy to see if he can make his way back to the field. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get to Jack Hoyle, but he'll definitely be able to solidify the second spot. Felix Neguar struggled through this race, battled for position with a lot of different drivers and a hodgepodge of what was cars going down the track, but solidly in 4th and may actually pick up 3rd spot podium position depending on time penalties. Gabriel Ryan again had the issue with Thomas Scott a few laps ago, but he's running in 5th. Alexander Bastos putting in a good run for 6th. Andre Sauerhall was starting to catch him, but unfortunately got caught speeding on the virtual safety car heading into the pits. He does set the fastest lap at a 106.147. We've got cautions in sectors 1 and 2. And again, that is James Hallworth, who has had a dismal weekend. He had spun twice in the wet qualifying session. This is the second time that we've seen him go around in the race. Saba Siktu sets the fastest lap now at a 105.562, and Hallworth is going to go into the pits. Brandon Glover coming off of his first pole position in a long time last round in Hungary. Finished 8th last round, currently running 8th again. And Joshua Dangle was involved in that 5-way car battle before the safety car came out from the 5th spot many laps ago. Currently running 9th. Saba Siktu, we just saw him set the fastest lap, trying to get that extra point for fastest lap. Looks like Sondre Sauerhall was trying to do the same thing. Currently running 10th. And that rounds out your top 10 points-paying positions. We just saw James Hallworth go around for the second time this race. Go into the pits. He's currently in 11th. John Linus, he decided to retire earlier on the session, lap 2, I believe it was, retired while the car was in the pits. His car's been AI for most of this race. And you see Siktu is going to head into the pits now as well. We're going to pick up Aaron Collingwood, though. Collingwood is starting to close that gap down to Luke Smith for that second spot. Jay Drawbridge is officially classified as 13th. Not sure why he had a DNF. We didn't catch it, but he was running second, and after the safety car got hit around like a ping pong ball and managed to fall through the field as he spun out. Another 3-second time penalty for Luke Smith. That's going to be a rough day for Luke at the end of this race. And Luke Smith, he's not one to relinquish a position, but it is my opinion that with 16 seconds worth of time penalties, you should just let Aaron Collingwood go by. You're not necessarily fighting for a position at this point. So Collingwood gets to the inside. Smith tucks in behind him. And that is second spot, but Collingwood is 6+ seconds back of Jack Hoyle, so it looks like Hoyle's going to be able to walk away with this win with only a couple of laps remaining. But again, Drawbridge, unfortunately, championship contender. He's proven to be real fast all year, and I feel like the 3 DNFs that, not the 3 DNFs, but the 3 times that Drawbridge has been taken out this year, he's really gotten the short end of the stick in all 3 of those situations. Drawbridge has proven to be a very fast driver. He is aggressive, but he hasn't been dirty. He's been very clean, and I feel like he got the short end of the stick this race. He definitely got the short end of the stick last race with the desync and Jack Hoyle, and unfortunately in Canada in round 1, the opening round, he got the short end of the stick then as well. So, you know, you can only push a driver so far before they start to push back, and I'm beginning to wonder where Jay Drawbridge's breaking point might be. Even though he's been clean up to this point, he's gotten the short end of the stick 3 times this year, and We don't know where that breaking point might be, but Jay Drawbridge might start to push back and make a push for this championship towards the second half of the season. So we're going to pick up Jack Hoyle. Comes across the line to start the last lap here. And it's been quite a season for Hoyle. And I don't think he was here for the first round of the season. Actually, he missed the first couple rounds. I believe Jack Hoyle didn't join until round 4. Which was Catalunya, which was a great race. Aaron Collingwood had won pole that day, but Jack Hoyle went on to win the race and pick up driver of the day. That was his first of 4 pole positions. He finished second in round 5 at France. He finished third at the British Grand Prix in round 6. Again, he was second last round. It looks like he's on his way to pick up another win today. So, and something I forgot to mention in the notes earlier was Jared Fosbury. Even though he is 15th, Jared Fosbury is going to be in the Renault for the remaining of the year. As we see Jack Hoyle come across the line, pick up his second win of the season. So congratulations to him. Aaron Collingwood picking up a much-needed second place. Luke Smith's going to come across the line in third. And a 5-second stop-and-go penalty for unserved penalty for Luke Smith. So Felix Neguar gets third spot. Gabriel Ryan gets fourth. Luke Smith is officially dropped to 5th as of now. But that is going to... Oh, look at this. Alexander Bastos gets the 4th spot because of time penalties. I'll have to double check with that. That doesn't seem right. I think he was a lap car. We'll get the official results here in a minute. Here comes Saba Siktu. So we'll get the official finishing order here in just a second, but there's your top 3. So that's Jack Hoyle picking up his second win. Aaron Collingwood in second, and Felix Neguar coming home with another podium finish to help retain his points lead. So we'll get the official results here after all the penalties have been assessed. So we've got Jack Hoyle, Aaron Collingwood, Felix Neguar. Alexander Bastos didn't have a time penalty all race, does get the 4th spot. Gabriel Ryan 5th. Luke Smith falls all the way from 3rd to 6th. Brandon Glover is 7th. Joshua Dangle 8th. 9th is Sandre Sauerhog, and Saba Siktu comes home 10th. James Hallworth will want to forget about this weekend as he finishes 11th. John Kalinas retired earlier in the session, but the car went AI to finish 12th. Jay Drawbridge, unfortunately, 13th with the DNF. Thomas Scott, who was having an amazing run, comes home 14th after he rage quit from the session. And Jared Fosbury caused the safety car early in the race. And again, I just want to mention that Jared Fosbury will be in the Renault for the remaining of the year. Unfortunately, Reese Bibby, who proved to be pretty quick earlier in the year, had a driver of the day and a couple of podiums, decided to step away from IRL for the time being. And so Reese Bibby is out. Jared Fosbury is in. And another amazing race here at Austria. And all the races have been quite epic to watch so far this year. So by all means, like and subscribe and comment to this video, to the IRL YouTube channel, and check out previous races and from previous seasons. You can also check out F2, and you can also check out the Christmas Classic, which was a lot of fun. Guys got to do the classic cars on 5 tracks. So definitely check that out. Like, subscribe, and comment. You can also look us up online at internationalracingleague-irl.com for all your news and notes and get caught up on point standings, records. And you can also check us out again next weekend, where we will be doing F2, F1, and the GT3 League. And next weekend we will be at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. So, again, Saturday we'll be running the Formula 2 race. Sunday we'll be running Formula 1. And Saturday afternoon we'll be running the Gran Turismo Sport GT3 League at Fuji. So, look for that in the upcoming week. So, guys, give a like. Let me know what you liked about the race, what you didn't. It was good to see everybody on the live chat. And we'll catch you guys at the next round.